Hello. I know I'm not supposed to record from my room, but maybe it'll be better with this microphone and me not laying down stomach. But anyway, so a few things I would like to establish before we get into this. So, first of all, I I actually really don't believe in absolutes. So nobody is going to get a perfect score or a score of 0 because I just don't think it's possible to predict something like that. Secondly, I'm going to be giving them percentages. So since I'm not doing absolutes, I'm not gonna have, nobody's gonna have 100%, nobody's gonna have 0%. I'm gonna do just whole numbers. And finally, okay, take two, I'm so sorry. Additionally, this has nothing to do with how much I like the character. I am fully about to give my favorite character the lowest score. And finally, I recommend that you have watched through the episode Marcy's new moms attempt to top each other for 10 minutes. Or, you know, Olivia and Yunan is the real name of the episode, but am I wrong? But anyway, if you haven't watched that, I suggest that you do, because this is greatly some of these are greatly based on that episode. You don't need to have watched past that because none of those really I don't really take any of those into account. 2 minutes of intro, let's go. Alright, so I think it makes sense to start with Anne. I give Anne a 95% chance of survival. The other 5% being, of course, the uncertainty, as well as how the glowing powers seem to be affecting her. They seem to be doing some serious damage to her. And while I'm not with most people who are like, oh my god, she's dying, it's still a possibility. So next, let's talk about the planters. Sprig, I'm going to give a 90% chance of survival. It's high because, of course, you know, that's what happens when you're a main character, is you're very, very likely to live. But the other 10%, of course, being firstly that there, of course, is that uncertainty, and I feel like I'm going to end up saying that every time. But also that he has been targeted by King Andreas before, and it's not too big of a stretch to say that Andreas would go after him again. Also, my dude is just, I relate so much because he just wants to touch everything. And unlike me, who has been living in this world my entire life, he doesn't really understand this world. And so, whereas when I look at a moving lawnmower and think I want to touch it, I am like, no, that's not a good idea. But he doesn't know any better. Yeah. So, Hot Pop, I'm going to give a 98% chance of survival, because, again, main character. Also because I feel like I feel like they wouldn't kill him. But there is, you know, still that possibility. And I'm going to give the highest possible score, 99%, to Polly, because she is a baby and nobody kills off the baby. That's just, You don't do that. By the way, I'm only doing, like, characters that have any level of importance. So just because a character has a name doesn't mean they're in here. Depending on how this does, I could maybe do a part 2 with side characters. Let me know in the comments. Oh shoot, I thought I paused it. So, I'm gonna include Ivy because I feel like as Sprig's love interest, that makes her rather important. I'm also gonna give her a 90% chance of survival because kind of some of the same reasons as Sprig. It's not too big of a stretch that she could be targeted because of her association with Sprig. And also, you know, when you miss someone, you do some crazy things. Definitely not speaking from anyway. And then Anne's parents, I'm gonna give Anne's mom a 98% chance of survival and Anne's dad a 97% chance of survival. I feel like, I mean, as I know this is Disney and Disney has a bad track record for killing off people's parents, but I feel like in Amphibia that's just something that they wouldn't do because of how much these characters have been through already. I gave Mr. Boonchoi a slightly lower score because of how unlucky he is. And oh my goodness, me too, mate. All right, so moving on to Sasha. I'm actually going to give her a 50% chance of survival. And the reason it's not higher is because of a bit of a discussion that I had with a friend of mine. Because I just had this idea like, oh, she's a tough girl, she'll be fine. But my friend brought up a good point that since Sasha feels pretty shitty about how she's been and feels like she has to make up for her past behavior, she could end up sacrificing herself. And that actually does seem kind of likely. And honestly, that girl's kind of crazy anyway. She kind of puts herself in situations where horrible things could happen anyway. But you know, I'm feeling pretty confident that she's gonna at least make it to the end. As for her toad dad, Grime, I'm actually gonna give him a 75% chance of survival because he's kind of secondary as far as important characters. He's just, and he just doesn't really get all that much screen time anyway. Additionally, there's like, of course, how tough he is. Also, I don't know, I just think it's unlikely that something would happen to him. Because he's very out. I mean, there is the potential of him like saving Sasha and it ending him, but other than that, I think he's, you know, just looking out for himself sort of thing. Now the moment you've all been waiting for. Marcy. I give her a 2% chance of survival. Now, honestly, that might be a bit generous. I think what's been done to her is kind of irreversible. I don't know how she could possibly get out of that alive. And since I don't deal in absolutes, she doesn't have 0. And also, since she is so beloved, I gave her an extra percentage. But I just, my hopes for her are very low, and it's heartbreaking. As for her moms, Olivia and Yunnan, I'm actually going to give them a 10% chance of survival, because they did kind of directly go against Andreas, and he is not a forgiving person. He stabbed a child. And it's like there is a slight chance, though, that he decides to not kill them and punish them some other way, or that this seems really unlikely, but it's definitely a possibility that my brain is like, you have to tell them this. There's also the possibility that he just forgives them because he kind of understands that they would want to save Marcy. But yeah, not too confident about those two living either. So, I know there are some kind of semi-important characters that we've met on Earth. I'm actually not going to include them because I feel like it would just be the same thing over and over. It's like, oh, they're not directly involved with any of this. And the only exception being Terry, and I just haven't seen enough of Terry to totally judge yet. So we'll see with those folks. Again, maybe I'll do a sequel. Probably not, but maybe. Who knows? But finally, Andreas. This is kind of a tough one for me because I'm such a pessimist. I mean, I don't think he's gonna win. Like, that would be kind of ridiculous. But at the same time, I have definitely, seen those, oh, the villain is not killed, and you know what I'm talking about? Like, where they're defeated, but they're not killed, and they're just like, I'm done here. I don't think that's very likely. So I think I'm actually gonna give him a 5% chance of survival. So, take take what you will from this. It's very unprofessional analysis. That's what I do on this channel, other than also unprofessional AMVs. I'm so unprofessional. Anyway, so yeah, according to me, Polly is the most likely to live, and Marcy is the least likely to live. So I'd like to hear your thoughts. That would be nice. And on that note, have a nice day, and don't forget that I appreciate you.